Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the NYSBA 340 meeting. It is September 15th, 2018. We have a board meeting. Before we have our board meeting, we have the committee of the whole. I have the acting as chairman, if both chairman don't mind. Welcome to the finance committee. Fine. Yes.
We prefer that. Rob, we prefer that.
You do a better job.
Wow.
So let's say that we have
Need a motion, sir?
motion
Motion to adopt the minutes of December 21 meeting the 12th, the audit and the finance committee meetings.
Second. Any questions on it? If not, if we have a review of Cosby and Company.
Can I vote on that, sir?
Vote on it. I want to see your weight today, too. All in favor, say aye. We have our regular report by Cosby and Company.
Yeah, we actually, PR group out here.
I was a little confused.
Yeah.
I want to say, Committee firm, again, is C.
It's the EFPI rule.
Well, let's say that, further introduce yourself.
Sure. My name's Joe Klimek, partner at EFPI Group, our government division, government niche. We have offices in Albany, Buffalo, Rochester, and Corning, so we're a large regional firm. We need to report to the board in accordance with our professional standards. And so we have a report to the board here that kind of tells you how things went with our audit. Again, a very, very smooth audit. We'll go briefly through the financial statements in a second. We audit your financial statements. The significant accounting policies were the same from year to year, and this one thing that I want to talk about going forward for the fiscal year we're in right now, 12/31/18. NYSBA statement number 75 has come out. It's called the accounting and financial reporting by employers for post-employment benefits other than pensions as amended. So really amended NYSBA statement 45. The authorities actuaries has prepared what the increase in the liability will be under NYSBA 75. It's here at the bottom of the state. The current liability as of 12/31/17 is at approximately $29 million. It's going to increase 40 to 43, almost $44 million as a result of this amendment for the fiscal year ended 12/31/18 that we reported in next year's financial statements. And what they're really doing there is getting it the same as the unfunded pension liability is for unfunded pensions under NYSBA 68 and 71, which you record your share there. It's doing the same thing. It's eliminating the need to advertise the past service costs over 30 years, representing the entire liability all at once. And it's going to affect all governments in New York State that pay for and fund retiree health insurance. We're seeing a negative effect all across the board, and how it's going to affect your net position for all those type of governments in New York State, because the state does not allow you any organization right now to begin funding that liability. So going forward, anyway, accounting estimates.
Seems as so what's the practical impact of that?
The practical impact is that you should be looking at your costs or how you're going to budget for how you're going to be actually paying for those costs as they increase over the years, as the cost increases over the years. You know you're going to eventually going to have to and start increasing your budget for healthcare all across the board.
So effectively, we've been paying it on a pay-as-you-go basis in our annual payments to New York State NYSBA. Basically, what we've seen over the past decade is a continuing increase. And what this liability represents is it's trying to go and show the user of the financial statement that the projection is that the cost will continue to obviously we wouldn't be liable immediately for the full value of this actuarially estimated liability. We will continue this, if current trends continue, we will likely see an increase in annual cash payments out to NYSBA. That's more or less what it's trying to say.
That's an estimated 50% increase in cost of non-pension benefits.
I think Trevor is more relevant in the sense that if we were to stop existing today and we still have this obligation, this is the amount of money that would be taken out of the asset for the side. Meet our contractual obligations to retirees for down until some point certain when they either die out of existence.
Hey, watch yourself.
I mean, it's an accounting number now, our annual retire, our healthcare, just keep it proportionate. Our annual payment for retiree benefits for healthcare providers is approximately what,
Really
so annually, that's what we lay out in real time, we pay the bills for those retirees, and then based on their age and projected lifespan, within lifespan, that's what we technically kind of owe, because it's not a real number.
Well, that's the cash dollar. Okay, so we pay health insurance and whole things, so remember the total cost that we reflect in the financial statements represents three components. The first component being building toward the estimate that we do each year. The second component being cash paid for current benefits, and the third component being cash paid for current retiree benefits.
Not like the pension system of the state, where there's a fund that figures an annual payment to the pension system, calculating the actuarials. There's no system in place to pay for a perpetual health care. We're not even authorized to.
Right.
So even though we noted, there's no mechanism in place to change the draft or any of those systems to investment systems. So,
Other states have allowed it, okay, for instance, Texas, where the employers are beginning to fund a lot of the funds that cost, like a pension, it's similar to a pension cost. In fact, these are really defined benefit plans right now. Yeah. Well, so, I mean, that's.
Annual operating costs is gonna see, it's gonna be just.
Yes.
increase in healthcare premiums are exactly what they are for employees and retirees.
So that's just going to happen to next year's finance statement, and it's effective for June 30, 18 school districts are all going to see a big increase in their liability. Going forward, county estimates. Again, there's lots of estimates in your finance statements, which we have to look at management's assumptions and outside assumptions to make sure that these estimates are, properly supported. Determine they are reasonable in relation to the finance statements taken as a whole. So, like your collection of accounts receivable, there's a pension and other post benefits obligations that we just talked about, and unfunded pensions, and those are all prepared by third parties with information that's prepared by management, and we looked at that information. And then your probably biggest one is your bridge system condition assessments, which is done every year by your engineering firm, Cheski and Masters. They keep the condition at or above a 5. There's certification in your financial statements saying that's where they are, which means you don't have to depreciate those assets. They're staying the same every year at $84 million, which kind of explains why your statement of income, let's just call it, goes up and down every year, because as you are repairing your bridges, you are not expensing it, or you are not depreciating, we're capitalizing them. So as those costs change every year, so will your increase or decrease in your net position. As David, I'll show you that in a second. Significant disclosures are in your financial statements. There's lots of those that you should be aware of as you're reading your statements. Of course, no difficulties encountered performing your audit. Everything is delivered to us on time. Brian prepares the statements, and we have no adjustments. Again, there's no adjustments. And we have no disagreement with management. We did receive management representation letter, saying that there was no fraud or any other things like that. That we would be concerned about. All the information that we asked for were given to us. We're going to work with management consultant and other independent accountants. As things come up, as your independent auditors, we may discuss matters such as new NYSBAs that are going to be coming out. There's one on leases that will be coming out pretty soon that'll have an effect on your authority. Thank you for our existence with you guys. We've been here for 4, 5, 6 years now, and we've seen changes between the old regime and the current regime. Brian is doing a real good job.
What did you say?
So you see your statements. First page is our independent audit report. Our audit report is based on management's responsibility for its financial reporting. As I said, Brian prepares the financial statement, those adjustments are necessary. Our responsibility is to express an opinion on your financial statements based on our auditing standards, and in this case, because you are independent authority and subject to the New York State Budget Authority Office, we do our auditing standards, which require us to have a higher review of your internal controls and your ability to prepare financial statements. On page 2, our opinion. It's a clean, unmodified opinion that the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the authority, changes in its financial position, and its cash flows for both years ended December 31st, 2017 and 16. There are required supplementary information based on what you would like to see, such as the conditions and those things. We do not express an opinion on those because we provide limited procedures, but do not provide sufficient evidence to express an opinion on that requires supplementary information. We also have reports on other legal and regulatory agreements that are in the back of this financial statements. Management discussion and highlights very well put together. The financial highlights is that the total revenue was $58.8 million, just slightly below 2016, and it was $2.2 million above 2015. So very consistent with total revenue. Operating expenses were $51.1 million, and increased by $13.1 million. Basically, primarily a result of the increased rehabilitation, reconstruction, and bridge repairs. Increase of $12.5 million from 2016. Because, as I said before, the authority uses the modified approach to reporting its bridge infrastructure. So instead of capitalizing the bridges going forward, everything is expensed, and you record your expense as they're incurred. If you put it as if they were being depreciated, your depreciation expense would pick that up, well, very comparatively year to year. So you kind of function with that. And I'll show you it right now, and let's turn right to page 10. So on page 10 is a comparison between the both years, 2017 and 16. You can see that operating revenue was very consistent. Operating expenses are broken down before rehabilitation, reconstruction, and bridge repair. So those are your normal operations, your salaries, your benefits that you pay. So you're very, very consistent from year to year. 30.9 million versus 30.3 million. Basically a standard inflation increase there. But the rehabilitation, reconstruction, bridge repairs, which would normally be capitalized under, if you were not under the modified approach, are here That's an expense, an annual expense every year. So you can see there was 20 million in 2017 versus 7 million in 2016. So that kind of, you fluctuate year to year based on your budget. Your top lines, everything before that, are pretty much close to your budget, but your operating expenses, rehabilitation, construction, bridge repairs fluctuate as the work is being done. You might budget for it, but then you have delays or whatever. That's a big difference there. Let's just go back to page 9. And page 9 is your statement of net position. You can see that your statement of net position, your total assets were 2.2 million versus 2.1, very, very consistent. Your investments went up, but as your cash went down, so you used some money for investments. Your total liabilities have decreased 123 to 100, from 131 to 123. Basically, you've been paying off some of your bonds going every year. And then at the bottom is your net position. Your net position increased from the year before about $6.1 million. Nice increase. And you'll have a net position restricted for debt service, your insurance reserves, your maintenance reserves. We have investments in capital assets of 110 million. Based on this, you have unrestricted deficit of 121 million. And that contains things such as the OPEB liability and other liabilities related to your bonds, because your bonds are not recorded as an investment under investment in capital assets, because we used a modified approach. So all new bonds are going to be, as you are spending the new bonds, you are expensing those new bonds and not capitalizing the related assets. So on page 11 is your statement of cash flows. How did we do this year in statement of cash flows? You can see that from year to year, we had 26 million in 2016 from cash provided by operating activities. This year we had 14 million. The big difference there was for payments to contractors. Again, you had more payments for bridge rehabilitation than that in 2017 and 2016. So you had $14 million in operating. How did you spend that? Well, you purchased more capital assets that we didn't capitalize, $847,000, and you paid off bonds and interest on your bonds. So for financing activities, you used almost $12 million. And then we had a change in investment funds. We invested more of our cash in investments. So we had net cash used in investing activities of $2,278,000. So our cash changed. A change in cash equivalents was a decrease of $311,000 from the prior year. So good to see how your cash flows during the year. It's really way you manage your business. So I'd like to go right back to the reports that I'll be happy to report on page 38. And 40. So on page 38 is a report on internal controls over financial reporting and compliance, other matters based on audit of financial statements, referring to according to government auditing standards. As I said, it's required because you are a public authority, and New York State, and it being a component of New York State, that's also required. So it's to say that we plan our audit and the internal control. We consider your authorities internal control. You do have a risk assessment done by your internal auditors every year, and we look at that. We also do our own testing of transactions to make sure that internal control is right. And we're happy to say that we have not seen any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in your internal control or financial reporting. And on page 39, we continue to look at the compliance. Compliance is how you are complying with your debt covenants, with your bondholders. Other things are compliance with your reporting to authority budget office. And we look at those type of things. We look at contracts to make sure there's nothing material not being disclosed, not being reported in accordance with contracts. We have the results of our testing disclosed no issues of non-compliance, and we need to report on any of those type of things. And on page 40, we're looking at our public authority and standard of work. We have to comply with Title II, the official compilation code rules of New York State regarding your investment program. And we give an opinion on that towards the bottom. In our opinion, the authority complied in all material respects with the types of compliance required to refer to above that could have a direct material effect on your investment program. So very positive. We have a $6.1 million increase in your net position during the year. Any questions?
Thank you very much. We appreciate all your time, looking forward to your work. And we're going
Ms. Brian keeps changing the numbers.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay, so normally the committee accepts the FBR group report. I'm sorry, I'll modify to reflect the FBR over task. The next item up would be the annual report required by section 2800. So this report and the remaining statutory required reports will be forwarded to the board for approval, and then those will be distributed accordingly. 2800 captures various requirements specifically identified in public authorities law. They're all listed out here. There's been no change in requirement year to year. From there, are there any questions?
Any questions?
Need acceptance of that? Is that my committee or which committee is that? I move acceptance.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, next up would be under public authorities law, the annual investment report. More or less, it's a subset of the audit of the reports coming out from the FBR. It's basically a summary of what our investment income was for the year, our investment guidelines, and a record of what our, and a copy of the auditor's report. So basically 3 items that are all listed there. Again, there's no change required.
Motion.
So,
Second.
question? All in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Okay, last up, as required by the Internal Control Act, the authority is required to have in place a program of internal control review. Annually, we contract NYSBA and Associates to consistent compliance. They have prepared their report. They have no findings for the 3 areas under review for this year. Those were both motion revenue, general benefits, and facilities inspection and maintenance programs. Again, there's really no material difference between the share program.
Any questions here?
I just
What's this mean?
It's basically trying to plot out for you graphically what the risk is.
Thank you, Brian.
Very good.
Review. We didn't vote, did we?
We did the motions.
All in favor?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Aye. Any other business? If no, motion to adjourn. So voted. All in favor, say aye?
Aye. Yeah.
Initiative on my left, on one table, Commissioner Boraski, Commissioner Roger Lee, Commissioner General Council, with that, myself, Chairman Guarantee, and we have a meeting on the group. Anything on that, for the compliments of the February 15th meeting? So, second, please.
Second.
Any questions on it? All in favor, say aye. Next, we have our new station, by Robert Russo. Are you Robert?
Very well. The first item I have on the agenda is authorization to make payment on the authority's membership for 2018 in the International Bridgestone Turnpike Association. It's the amount is based on a rate applied to your prior year's total revenue, and the amount for 2018 is $24,882. It's essentially the same as it was last year, except for 17.
So, second, please.
Second.
Question? Now, roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Just preface, all the remaining items are annual compliance reports in accordance with public authorities law that we need to file. The first one being prompt payment report for 2017 in accordance with our own prompt payment policy and public authorities law. We file a report with several offices in Albany as well as online through the public authorities report information system on any payments that were late payments and charged assessed fees. Of course, I'm pleased to report that staff processed in excess of 2,100 voucher payments last year. We didn't have any chargeable late payments. And that's, I'll remind you that that's due mostly in part to the fact that we pay our bills weekly here, so we can usually meet the terms of our vendors.
So, second, please. Any questions, all in favor, say aye.
The next one is a two-parter. There are two resolutions. One is to adopt or re-adopt annually our disposal guidelines. And then coupled with that, we file a report on a listing of our real property and any disposals of sales of real property for which we had no sales. But then also on the personal property, any assets that we had that had a fair market value in excess of $5,000. And we had 7 items here. They were all vehicles that were sold through auction. We had 3 different auctions during the year. And so that listing will be filed with Albany. And I do notice that there's one little typo in that first gray bar. It says, State Bridge Authority had a filing asset disposal in 2016. I should say 17. The header does have the calendar year. We'll get that correction. So there are 2 resolutions, one to re-adopt the guidelines and one to submit the report.
Second.
On the motion, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second. Second.
Aye.
Questions? Now, roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and lastly, similarly, there are two parts on this. We have to re-adopt our procurement guidelines each year. There were no recommended changes to the procurement guidelines since prior year, so basically you're re-adopting the existing guidelines, and there's a resolution for that. And as well, we file a report on any single procurements or contracts that were made, or payments that were made, and greater than or equal to $5,000. And so this is basically a data dump of our accounts payable system, showing all of the purchase orders and contracts of various types that were either entered into or made payments on, were carried over from prior year that had continuing payments this year. And all of that will get uploaded into the Paris system as well.
Motion to both resolutions at the same time? Aye. Move resolutions.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Robert.
All right, glad I could.
Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's up, you're very tough getting responsible.
First off, we'd like to purchase a 2018 Chevy Volt. This is an all-electric vehicle with a range of 230 miles. We're looking to purchase this and help us meet the governor's directive for alternative fuel vehicles. This vehicle will replace a 2011 Ford Escape, which currently the manager of maintenance is using. The price, and we had three bids. The low bidder, Capolino Chevy, gave us a price of $33,635.89.
So moved.
One quick question. Chairman's not permitted to drive this. If I could, I noticed we got several different vehicles here. The Volt is an SUV type?
No, it's more of just a passenger car. It's gonna be a pool vehicle, basically, for us to get around engineering to the benches.
So why don't we just get one model?
Because we want to go more than 23 miles.
So this
Yeah,
is.
the Chevy Malibu is, it has to be able to get to Albany and back, and it's a little more driving range.
Nobody wants to get stuck there.
And back, yeah. We'll get you there.
You know, I was wondering if you standardize it.
And we
I
have,
understand. Also.
And now, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye. These financial
So the 2018 Chevy Malibu Hybrid will be utilized by Joe, the executive director, being able to get to Albany and back in a little longer than what we anticipate for an electric vehicle, for sure. So we received 3 responses. Van Bortle Chevy was the low bid at $27,160.79.
So moved.
Second.
Now, roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any call, anybody want
Next up, we'd like to get approval for Majeski Masters to prepare rehabilitation plan specs and cost estimates for the rehabilitation of the Rip Van Winkle West abutment bearing link. It's been documented in recent inspection reports to be in need of repair. It's got some cracking in one of the diaphragm connections inside. So they've given us a price of $159,241.96.
So moved. All in favor, everybody, say aye. I don't know. Better from the door. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up is the 2017 walkway over the Hudson Steel Repairs project. We had a designer, WSP, design repairs for approximately 40 different locations on the structure. These will take care of noted priority 1 and 2 repairs from the inspection report. We had 21 contractors picked up packages, we received 5 bids. The low bidder was Oregon Group out of Pleasantville, New York, with a bid of $3,948,648, which was very close to our engineer's estimate of $3.75 million.
So,
Yeah.
This is none.
No,
This is
So
structural.
that with the park, when we do the deck, that the parks department, this is actually doing the budget, versus us.
No.
This is settled law.
As I recall, we didn't take it over.
yeah.
Except this size.
Right, your turn.
all right, all in favor, Lonnie, you want to go? All in favor, say aye.
And then also,
Excuse me, sir, we should, just so the public understands, we do have legal responsibility for this. For the structure, for the structure.
And we just don't have money flooding down.
Well,
To help us with it.
This is,
The program to be have an eye on this budget, year to date, we've not budgeted this. Since ownership, we've probably put about 7 or 8 million steel frame. The bridge, if there's been any work on the deck, it's paid for and reimbursed, which really not by much.
First up on New York State Green Board, $17 for expenses.
that's, how many years? It's relatively short time.
Our previous executive representative, not knowledge pictures.
Such a wise decision. All right, all in favor, say aye.
I move that, yeah, right.
and also in connection with the steel repair project, we have design support by the designers, NYSBA. They'll do pre-construction meetings, shop drawing reviews, and any field change requests. Their not to exceed cost of $108,512.
So moved. All in favor? All in favor, say aye.
Jobs in progress, Rick Van Winkle, the sidewalk replacement project is kind of on hold. It'll finish in spring when weather clears for pouring concrete on each approach. The Mid-Hudson Bridge and Bloomberg Beacon Bridge steel repairs are scheduled for completion on time this year. And the Bloomberg Beacon catwalk flooring project continues to be worked on schedule to be finished by the end of this year.
Move to accept jobs and progress report.
Second. 9W, that will probably start in April. We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for next Thursday. And the contractors to get going ASAP.
What will happen when we get
It'll be done in a 3-phase, basically, project. So we're gonna move traffic, one direction and start replacing the bridge deck from the north heading south. So, we'll see how it goes. But basically, eastbound traffic, maintains the 2 lanes that are coming in, and plus then the ramp for the 3rd lane going out. So, eastbound traffic shouldn't be affected very much. Westbound traffic will be held to just 2 lanes all the time, which most of the time we only have 2 lanes going across the bridge. And when we have 3 lanes going across the bridge, because the on traffic from 9D occasionally gets heavy, but they'll have the whole length of the bridge to merge into 2 lanes. So.
Any other questions? Now, roll call, and we can aye, John Schreiber.
Right.
Thank you, Ryan.
First up is the monthly investment report. There are 8 investments for the month, all of routine nature. Those are reflected in the investment inventory. Currently, the managed reserve fund stands for a balance of $2.5 million. Interest income yield, we're approximately 1.26% for the month, January 18th. Move to accept the investment report.
Second.
Okay, in addition to the annual reports that were discussed with the FPR, for the FPR until climate, internally, we normally publish the quarterly operations report, basically just a little bit different breakdown showing the individual bridges. More or less, traffic was up slightly, which was actually fairly good. The reduction in revenue was really due to the mix of traffic. If you compare 17 to 16, we actually did a little bit better because 16 had a leap year in it, and there were fewer snow days than 17. Operating expenses were materially in line. Some changes associated with GASB, contractually obligated wage and salary increases. We were off the budget as it relates to operating expense or capital program spending. Originally, we anticipated the 9W decking job to commence earlier, and the walkway over the Hudson job that you just approved to commence back in 17, so that's really a big budget difference there. Okay. No action is required by the board, this is just for information purposes. Are there any questions? Next. Okay, next up is the annual investment report. This was discussed in the committee. Are there any questions?
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Next up is the last element of what was discussed in the committee, the annual report for section 2000 public authorities law.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, thank you very much. All right. That was a record one. Good afternoon. I've got 4 items today, first of which is a network monitoring software purchase. As our command center takes on more responsibility and we bring more systems in, the reliability of our IT systems is paramount. We identified the need to monitor all aspects of our network, cameras, fiber optic, computers that operate everything. And we identified a product from PRTG that offers us the level of monitoring that we need. We tested it extensively against other products and settled on PRTG. The price for the product was $12,213. The purchase has to be made for the product as a failed under Joe's discretion. However, ongoing maintenance is $9,696 for 3 years plus the initial 1 year. So total 4-year cost of operating the product is $21,909. So I've worked with the board for approval to continue with that product. So much. So, right, the $9,696 will be paid at the end of the first year.
Right, the resolution says be resolved, purchase order in the other March, functionality seen down 12,000. And then actually should be 21,909.
Okay, I will change that.
So move that as amended, or as corrected, I'm sorry.
21,967.
Sorry. All in favor? Voting. Second up, I have a server replacement program for 2018. We're looking to replace a total of 6 servers. One will be a Mid-Hudson Bridge, it's a backup server. Second is our primary file server. And we also have 4 video replacement servers for replacement at KRB and being either out of warranty and aging. The new servers will all carry a 5-year warranty. So second. All in favor, say aye. Okay, next up is the encryption switch procurement. The Mid-Hudson Bridge, the original camera network that goes around the bridge was installed over 12 years ago. capacity, put into network terms of 100 meg. The system is aging and we are outgrowing the amount of available bandwidth on the network. We are able to upgrade the hardware on the bridge, which would equate to a total of 12 Hirschman network switches, bring the speed up to 10 times what we currently have, allow for current and future expansion. We also have one spare unit to allow shelf to be under failure. The total cost is $32,747.
So, please. All in favor, side?
Aye. Switches are very reliable.
Yes.
We've been functioning, we've been functioning all these years in fiber rings and all the Hirschman switches.
No, they've had
Gee
We're
whiz.
replacing the old version with the new version. That's all.
Harry pointed out his first week here that.
My last item is, I have a change on the cover memo, which is supposed to come in. So this is the system-wide radio replacement I came to you several months ago for approval for the replacement of our radio system. We identified some additional components that were omitted from the initial submission. Those include 6 call boxes which utilize radios, and 2 handheld radios. We have a total cost of $8,256, bringing the total cost to $323,231. These call boxes are used at the gates to allow people to use radio in the offices, and also at the escort areas so that truckers can radios and let them know when they're using that across the bridge.
So, questions? Now, roll call, all in favor, side? Any further?
Thank you very much.
One item today, the fourth quarter two-way bill to wrap up 2017. And that is in the amount of $932, or $950,443.73. And that brings our full transaction total for the year to 18.3 cents.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Now, roll call, all in favor, side?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Welcome, Frank, welcome, Bertie, down here, if you do the Scott, if you can reach and whatever, sure you will. So, good luck. That's right.
You have our executive director's monthly activity report showing no expenses, the February 2018 traffic, showing the analysis report, as well as sales analysis. Right, and absence of tariff, prices that might be considered, the February 2018 restricted international value report. For your consideration.
Any questions on the report? If not, you have, Chris? You have, memorandum here?
No, really good.
How's everyone doing? So this is in response to certain incidents that were found by staff and toll audit. We've been asked to put forward a proposal for installing cameras in every lane at the authority. This is at a not to exceed cost of $40,000. These cameras are going to be used obviously in every booth in the event that we change the way we collect. We'll be able to reuse these throughout the authority. Bulk of the cost is coming from servers, which will also be used on other projects that we're going to be implementing throughout the year. So it won't be just for these projects, so there will be other use. So,
Do we not still have credits?
Yes, we do.
yeah, we do.
And do we monitor and publish the?
So it's all, we're gonna get into a report, engineering clients, the
This is all coming out of the capital plan, for camera replacement and upgrades.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
We have no presentation, any old business? Any new business, we'll open up the current line privilege, no action taken. Have a discussion, we'll adjourn after that, or we'll adjourn before the end of this. Motion is not, before we do that, next meeting, at 3 o'clock. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.